Hey everybody, how we doing? How's it going? How you doing? Is it fresh? I'm just joking around. Anyways, guys, I know that I'm a tiny bit late, 5 minutes to be exact. I hope that y'all are all ready to hang out and just chat it up about fragrance. We'll see if anybody remembered, if anybody wants to pop in. If nobody does, that's fine too. But we'll see how many people pop in. Again, everybody, if you were wondering where I was yesterday, I'm gonna start doing these lives only on Saturdays, and I'm gonna try to, keep them this way because I try to, I want to spend Friday night having fun. I'm sure that y'all want to have fun on your Friday nights as well. It's fun with you guys, don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice to, I do fragrance every day of the week. It'd be nice to have an evening a little bit to myself. So, anyways, guys, nobody's here yet. We'll see. We'll see if anybody wants to pop on. For me and my fragrance journey, it's been kind of interesting. Have y'all been doing some, y'all have heard of the saying spring cleaning? Hey there, Stephanie Deming. Happy to see you. What's your scent of the day? I'm sure y'all heard of the saying spring cleaning. But for some reason, I've been doing fall spraying cleaning with my collection. I have been selling off a lot of fragrances, guys, and I've been trying to keep it down. I did a bunch of buying fragrances 2 or 3 months ago, and I finally have gotten through and done a lot of the reviews of them. And then when I was like stacking them on the table where I keep my fragrances, I was just like looking at them, and I think it's good to every once in a while reevaluate your fragrances. Which fragrances are collecting dust? Which fragrances do you not really need anymore? Did you outgrow a fragrance? Do you not really enjoy it as much as you thought you did? And is anything redundant? For me, I don't like anything that is redundant. Anything that smells terribly the same or maybe does the same kind of thing. But again, everybody's different. I think it was Gent Sense who also mentioned in one of his videos that he has about 2,000. More power to him. I respect that. Hey there, Gamil. How do you say that? Gabriel Centino. Happy to see you. Thank you for popping in. What's your scent of the day? Stephanie says scent of the day is Tiziana Terenzi's Spirito Florentino. I've heard that one's really good. I need to try that. I have tried Ursa. I tried the new. I forget what its name. It's based on that Haley's Comet. I think it's called Haley. And I've tried a few here and there, but I haven't tried all the Tiziana Terenzis. I keep hearing really good things about Laderno Nero, which I need to try, and I really want to get the El Contrario. I think I've been tempted to blind buy it, but I've held off on blind buying the El Contrario, but I might have to. Again, I don't have access to any boutiques where I can smell sample wise those kinds of fragrances. So, anyways, um, yeah. So, any new fragrances in your collections? Stephanie says you love leather, right? Excellent leather, top note with Baccarat Rouge 540 dry down. I might have to give it a try. Oh, that's the one. That's the one in the red bottle. I remember people talking about that. I remember some people saying it was a little bit more masculine, perhaps, and some people liked it even better than Baccarat Rouge 540. I will have to try that one. I'll have to see if I enjoy it. You know that Baccarat Rouge 540, I don't know, for some reason for me, I think it's a good fragrance, but it's not for me. But I actually really like the extrait, but I personally would prefer the extrait on a lady. But the regular Baccarat Rouge 540 almost smells like a layering type of scent, like you would layer, or maybe that you would wear very casually. But it's very expensive, so I guess in my opinion, it's a good smell, nothing's wrong with it, but you'd have to have a lot of money to wear Baccarat Rouge 540 casually. To me, it feels like a casual fragrance, but it definitely does smell good. I see why it gets compliments and all that kind of stuff. But for me, again, y'all know that I tend to like masculine fragrances, and for me, it doesn't feel that way. So, Taj Sam says, how similar are Pure Havan and original Amen? I am sick of the original Amen and would like to buy Pure Havan blindly. I don't know how smart that is. It's pretty different in my opinion. To me, in my opinion, a lot of them aren't too similar to the original. Some of them will have a similar rubber quality and some sweetness in the dry down, but all of the Amen flankers are actually different. Funny enough, I don't. I felt the same way. I tried a sample of the original Amen, I actually didn't like the original Amen. I know that some people love it and some people say the original is the best. I do understand where they're coming from. I do think it's good to always smell the original fragrance before really diving into the flankers, so you have a point of reference. And sometimes the original is really good, but for me, pure malt, even though it's been reformulated, it's still good. But it's not as boozy as it used to be. The Pure Havana is a really good fragrance, especially if you like tobacco. I like pure malt, but it's discontinued. It's not pure malt. I keep calling it that, pure Tonka, and it's getting expensive. It's creeping up to about $100. I don't think it know if it's worth $100 unless you really love the smell. If you like something that has a little bit more of a bad boy vibe or a little bit of that dangerous type of vibe to it, I really like the fragrance, but I know that some people find it overpowering. It performs pretty darn well, the pure Tonka. But yeah, definitely if you like tobacco, and also it's kind of in a way a more wearable and maybe a little bit more versatile, perhaps alternative. It's not the same, and it's not. I don't think it was really a clone, but I think it would be probably a little bit easier to wear, and it's more affordable than Red Tobacco by Mansara. Even though, don't get me wrong, Red Tobacco by Mansara is a great fragrance with great performance, and especially if you get it on sale for even if you paid $100 for it, it's still a pretty good value for what you're getting. Don't get me wrong on that one. Stephanie says I got a 10 mil decant from Royalty Sits, and I definitely plan on buying a bottle. I think it's more of a interesting than Bakar Urge 540. No, I feel you. Bakar Urge 540 is not a bad fragrance, and I've never meant to beat up on it. But when it was getting a lot of hype, there were a bunch of guys who were kind of hyping it up or being fanboys of it, and some people got kind of mad at me at the time because I kind of mentioned that it was a good fragrance and I thought it was pretty good on the performance and all that. But I still feel like it's definitely a very unisex fragrance, and I think that has to be put in mind. It smells very modern, and for guys who do tend to maybe like more masculine, sorry about that, more masculine scents, it might come off as a little bit, might not be their style. So, absolutely, Taj. I hope that was a good explanation of pure, Amen. Amen to me is like the original is and if y'all haven't smelled it, I feel like not everybody smelled it out there. It's almost like an aquatic fragrance somewhat, but it has a lot of caramel, a lot of this like smoky rubber, and it's kind of intense. It's kind of polarizing. It's kind of like a love or hate fragrance. A lot of people, it was considered a very kind of rebellious fragrance when it came out. It was very, nothing like it had ever come out before. It was kind of unusual, and it was kind of if you think the original Amen is strong now, it used to be a lot stronger. It's been reformulated. It's still a fairly strong fragrance, but the original ones, especially in the silver, the metal flask, they're beast mode, guys. And it's no joke. I got a sample of one of those, and that stuff was kicking off my skin. And not only could I smell it after 2 days, it was still projecting pretty much after 2 days. And that wasn't on clothes, that was on skin. So there's some fragrances that really project out there. They're crazy, guys. Um, anyways, let's see here. Thanks. Absolutely happy to help you, Taj. Kitty, is that Karina? I almost wanted to say Katarina. Karina, I only like Versace Eau Fresh. Is that your only fragrance that you like? More power to you if that's your signature scent. But which fragrances have you tried, or do you try a lot of fragrances? But again, more power to you if that's your only scent. No other fragrance compares. Hey, if you find your signature scent, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. I respect that. Not everybody wants to have a big collection. I have about 80. I kind of am comfortable under less with having less than 100. I like to think that I'll get through my fragrances, and I like to come back to them, make memories with those fragrances and connect to them. If I had 360 or so fragrances and I could only wear one fragrance for every day, I would feel kind of disconnected with the fragrance. And I mean, it would be really fun to have a fragrance for every situation, but some would certainly collect dust, some would get forgotten about. I would kind of feel like it's a waste, and that's terribly expensive, especially if you're getting into the world of niche. 100 niche fragrances, by golly, that's going to cost you a lot of money. That's going to cost you a lot of coin. So, Ultra Super says, "Hey Ben, it's great to see you. Just missed your take on Red Tobacco. I'm thinking about picking it up. Can you talk about it again?" Absolutely. It's a great fragrance. Don't get me wrong. It's like a red leather fragrance and tobacco. It has that Mancera sweet DNA. It's a good fragrance. It performs very, very well, and I can see why a lot of guys like it. And it's a great fragrance also for guys who want that rouge vibe. You know, that red vibe. Not everybody has smelled that in fragrances. It's not a common feel to capture that red rouge, that red velvet kind of feel in fragrances. So it doesn't smell spicy, but it almost has that like feeling of spicy, if that makes sense. It doesn't smell like a red pepper or red hot chili pepper, but it feels like a red pepper in a way. But it's mostly a sweet tobacco fragrance, but it's not a honey tobacco fragrance. It's still got some of that dryness, and it certainly has a lot of personality. It doesn't change a lot. A lot of Mansaras aren't the most complex, but it gets attention. Mansaras can get you compliments, and I think that's the name of the game. When you can get a Mansara for $100 or less, and again, they're 4 ounce bottles, and they give you lots of performance. They are eau de parfum. They're pretty strong concentrations. I think that most of them are like 20% or something, if I remember right. It's you can't go wrong. And there have been times where Red Mansara has been sold out, or it's kind of hard to get. So get it while you can if you want it and you like it, even if it's not the best deal you've ever heard of. Some people like to brag about the best deal they ever got. Somebody was sold it off from their collection and they didn't want it anymore. And somebody sold got the red tobacco that was almost like 99% full and sold it to them for like $60. That stuff just doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes I see people who are waiting, and it's good to wait. It's good to wait for a sale. I tend to wait for a sale, but you gotta, I guess, keep things a frame of mind, in the right frame of mind. So sorry about our crazy dogs over here, but anyways, if you can find it for close to $80, even getting 80 to 100, I think that you'll really enjoy it. So anyways, let's get to the rest of the comments here. Red Tobacco sounds like Invictus Legend. Red Tobacco does? Is that what you meant? Sorry. Oh, or maybe you're talking about Amen. Sorry, we're jumping from fragrance to fragrance. Invictus Legend, is to me, I don't know. It's like a really sweet aquatic fragrance. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. Has that bubblegum vibe, and then it adds some of that. It's not green, but like it's almost like slightly feeling green aspect to it. I'm not crazy about the Invictus line, but I do respect it, and I do try to mention it every so often. Everybody talks about Acqua di Gio flankers and the Profumo, even though it is great, and people talk about other big compliment getters. Invictus is one of the biggest compliment getters out there. It performs, it gets you attention. If you're into the scene, really getting noticed, like the party scene, or you just want something playful, like Ultra Ball by Jean Paul Gaultier. I don't, Invictus has kind of been forgotten by some people, but it still works. And I wore it at college. People loved it. It's if you're at college or high school, I mean, Invictus will do you wonders. It'll do magic for you. So, anyways, Centralize, how you doing? Happy to see you. How's the fragrance life treating you? Any new fragrances? I have a lot of reviews coming for you guys. I know a lot of y'all like to see the bottles, and a lot of y'all got kind of tired about me talking about niche. So, I have some, more full-size bottles coming for you guys. And of course, I'm going to make my fall list. I know some of y'all have been begging for my fall list, so that's going to be exciting. I'll get that out for you guys. So, and Ultra Supra says, I've sampled Red Tobacco, and man, it's nuclear. Stayed on me forever. To me, it smells similar to Parfums de Marly Carlisle, with a little cherry on top. I can see why it feels similar, but if you compare the notes, they definitely have different notes. But I can see how they feel similar. They kind of are composed in a similar way, and sometimes that's really funny when you find two fragrances that are very different, but yet they have a similar feel and how they hit your nose and how they develop. It's really funny. And again, I just recently learned this, but big perfumers and people who are in the know and the companies, I don't know who you have to contact, and I don't know how it's all done behind the scenes. But if you're a big perfumer or a big brand and you have a lot of money, you can kind of buy rights. It's kind of like a licensing fee, and you can use certain formulas and then put your own spin on that fragrance. So I don't know which ones are available for sale, but maybe in the years to come, somebody could buy kind of buy the formula to Aqua di Gio, and then they know how the composition works and everything, and they can twist it all with similar aroma chemicals, and have a different smell and call it their own. But then they know it's a DNA and a composition that works. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some things like that in the future coming back. So, anyways, Stephanie Deming says I got the do as an if I can say that. I wanted to say interpretation, but inspiration of Tom Ford's Bitter Peach. Not all what I was expecting. Spicy woody peach. I like it, but it's not a love. I'm glad I didn't pay the Tom Ford price. I feel you. I respect Tom Ford. It's a good house. It's made waves. It's changed the fragrance world. It's changed the fragrance industry. Very influential house. Some people would say very prestigious niche house. But for me, especially in the last couple years, they don't. A lot of the time, they either don't last long enough, or they might not just be creative enough, and especially for what you're paying compared to other niche that's out there, and for the quality for what you're getting. To me, they're terribly expensive, and a lot of them don't last. And I don't know if y'all have heard. I've tried to get the word out, but a lot of Tom Fords have just got discontinued, as far as I know. Go on the internet. I could be wrong. Double check which ones have been discontinued. If you do have a favorite one you've always been wanting to buy, or you want a backup bottle, it might already be too late. The prices on eBay are already outrageous for a lot of them, and I wish I had the money, but you win and you lose in the game of love. And Italian Cypress, which I always wanted. I always wanted to get myself a bottle of that by Tom Ford. It's already like $400 on eBay, and I'm not gonna pay it. So you lose and you win and you lose. So Fragrance Journey says I want to cut my collection down a lot. Absolutely, Fragrance Journey, do it. Absolutely, you lose a lot on eBay, but it's the easiest way for me. But you have a lot of niche and a lot of really fascinating things, and I know you got the hookup, and I know you got the connection. So it shouldn't be too hard to turn those around. I tend to sell my stuff off eBay. I don't like finagling, and I tried to sell some stuff on Facebook groups, and almost nobody messaged me. And people like didn't want to pay. They wanted to do friends and family, and I won't do that unless I terribly trust the person. But I'd rather pay, I guess, the fees on eBay and PayPal. But it kind of hurts. You have to. I usually give free shipping, and then you pay about 13% in fees in total. And with the shipping, you might lose 20% of what you sold it for. And with some fragrances, if you're selling them, for really cheap to begin with, you can lose a lot of money. But I understand. To me, I'd rather fund another fragrance that I love, and I actually did that recently. I guess I'll show it to y'all here in a second. But I've been wanting this fragrance for a really long time, and I finally got it, and I'm happy that I did. It's not for everybody, though. I'll tell y'all that it's not a mass appealing fragrance. What you got, Fragrance Journey? Exactly. See what I'm talking about? Flatty Batty wants to hit you up. People already want to buy what you got, man. A lot. Fragrance Journey. Hey, I respect that. I've sold off about 10 or 12 in total, and but I also really bought a lot of fragrances 2 or 3 months ago. So the size of my collection really hasn't changed too much. But again, a lot of things change. And I think as we get closer to the end of the year, I think I'll do another, update on my fragrance collection to show y'all what I actually have, because it's always changing. And last time I felt like it was really fun, but I did a really odd job. I gave y'all some of the shaky camera, and I showed all my fragrances live, but it was kind of awkward. Hopefully I can get things set up and do a better job for you guys. So Centralized says, hey Robert, Fragrance Journey says a lot again. Yes. And Carnal Flores, I hear you, but we're not going to talk about that here. This is a fragrance channel. We can, or somebody can have that discussion with you somewhere else. But I respect your opinion. But or I'm not saying exactly I agree. I'm just saying that you have your right to have an opinion, but please don't share political anything here. Either side or any opinion. This is a fragrance channel, so. And also, I have YouTube doesn't like that kind of talk as well, so please don't hurt my channel. Centralized says red tobacco is very tangy in the opening. Yeah, I can see that. You just reminded me of the little meme, or I guess the TikTok joke is like, why is it spicy? I'm sure that y'all have heard that. It's like, why is it spicy? Anyways, what's up, Centralized? Do you sell any of your fragrances, Ben? Absolutely, I do. I sell a lot of things, so I'm looking for some Russo Musk. I don't have that. I don't think I've ever smelled that before, so I'm sorry that I can't help you with Russo Musk. Russian Musk. I don't have that either, so I've only sampled. I have a sample of Russian Musk. Maybe Fragrance Journey can sell it to you in a bundle. He can give you a bundled deal. Cardinal Flores says scent of the day is Mio how do you say that? Fusquini? I don't know. I've never smelled that one. What's that one all about? A full bottle is gonna run you a crazy price. Yeah, I bet it is. You're onto that some of that expensive juice fragrance journey. I know it. You're onto that some of that high end juice, that high level juice. I'm playing around usually with $150 fragrances, and sometimes I like the more expensive fragrances, but I'll wait for a deal. And I usually, at least with my budget right now, I have to save for a lot, and I like the quality of a lot of fragrances that are from the $150 range, but maybe to the 300. But most of the fragrances I own are 150 or even far cheaper. Designer fragrances. But honestly, for me, fragrances that are over $300, you have to really connect. And I haven't found a lot of fragrances, to me, in my humble opinion, that are worth over $300 that I would actually pay for, even if I was a millionaire. They're good. They're good quality. They're well made, but I mean, you're paying a lot more money for a smaller amount of a better amount of quality, but you're kind of switching out synthetics that kind of do the same job for more naturals, and I guess it depends on if you can smell the difference and if that different little difference is worth it to you. And I just haven't found a lot of fragrances, in my humble opinion, that are worth that. I mean, $300 fragrances plus is like, fragrances that are more expensive than like Tenzion Terenzis and Tom Fords and are, way out there. So it's crazy. There's tons of stuff out there. If y'all have never looked up those expensive fragrances, go to Lucky Scent, have some fun and stare at them. But I do like them when they're in the $150 about range, my humble opinion. So let's see. I'm sure somebody on Facebook has one that's a cult favorite of. Rouge Lador has a big following, a big fan base. It's crazy. They do a really good job, over there. I need to dive into that house, but I don't have the budget for it right now. But it does look really fun. I don't know how far I want to get into that oud life and that oud world. Some of y'all already feel like I'm an oud guy, but I do tend to wear more of the Western, style ouds. I don't have, or I've never really fallen in love with a ton of the really heavy oud fragrances. Honestly, I do respect them. I know that they're very well done, but I don't have any of them that are really crazy on the ouds. So, at least in my opinion, Vanilla Oud by Montserrat actually is pretty medicinal on the top, though. I do have to say that. Odor 95, I don't know what that is. I'll have to feel out the groups. Absolutely, Flatty Batty. Do that. Ask around, and usually there's somebody who will help you out and lead you in the right direction. I'm not crazy into the Facebook group world. I respect it, but some people who throw around memes, I have some fun with that. And I love helping out people if somebody has questions. But I don't know. I've never been into like wanting to argue about which fragrance is better, if a clone or some alternative, or if a Ventus is the best fragrance of all time, and people arguing about, I guess other things, or are people bragging about that they got an amazing deal on some fragrance from Ross or TJ Maxx. I've just never really been into that kind of scene, but more power to the guys. I mean, have fun, do what you want to do. Rich says scent of the day was Santos de Cartier. I haven't tried that one, but it does look good. I think I saw it on FragranceNet. Was it on FragranceNet at one point? I want to say some of those fragrances do tend to creep up on FragranceNet. Sometimes they go rather quickly. Is that one discontinued though? It might be. Which iteration? Cardinal Flores says. Odor 95. I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that if you're asking me. Ultra Super says, Ben, how sensitive are you about the season for wearing fragrances? Do you really observe appropriate fragrances for the weather? I do. I do actually line up my fragrances depending on the season. And again, I never tell people that they have to wear things per their season. I never would try to limit anybody or tell them what to wear. And sometimes I wear what I want, just like y'all do. You know, sometimes I feel like a citrus one day. It might be the middle of winter and I wear it. Sometimes it might be really hot and I want a gourmand fragrance, so I put on one or maybe two sprays of a gourmand fragrance. So I kind of do what I want, but I do try to wear things depending on the temperature because again, some fragrances perform or just seem to do really right in less humidity or more humidity, or when it's hot outside or when it's cool outside. And that's kind of the feeling I want to get. For me personally, certain fragrances work really well in the cold. Those extraits, those really dark notes, really punch through the colder temperatures and do a wonderful job. I mean, test it for yourself. You don't have to care about that, but it does work for me that way. I don't know if you've ever done that before, gone into the middle of the winter where there's like ice and snow outside and tried to spray yourself with a bunch of citrus, and it simply just doesn't project. I've done that before, but again, if you can smell it, if it works for you, do what you love, wear what you like. So that more power to you. But Flatty Bay says, that's a nice one, Mitch. Absolutely. Original Sun, Santos Brown bottle. Okay. I don't know too much about that, but I've seen the bottle. I've seen it. Richmond says, love Duncan, mate. Good one. I'm wearing Fougère d'Argent. Wish it projected a little bit more, but it's nice. That is a really nice one. That's that Tom Ford that they put into their, what do you even call it? Their normal line, it's their more affordable line. I don't even know what they call it. I know that their regular fragrances with the special bottles are called the private collection. I don't know. Is it the normal collection? Cardinal Flores says, I'm wearing Mio Fuschini Odor 95. Okay, that's what you're wearing. I don't know too much about that one, but that sounds nice. Sounds fancy. Making Sense says, what's up, bud? Hey, my friend, how you doing? I got to get reviews out on your fragrances. I don't know if you saw on Instagram, but I talked about your fragrances a little bit, gave a quick introduction. I actually was wearing more of those today, your Italian Cypress, and I was just talking about that from Tom Ford, and that's on this hand. And it's still kicking. After 5 hours or so, it's still kicking pretty good, so... Let's see here. What's it like, Duncan? Absolutely making sense here. And Taj Seb says, have you tried a new Zara Warm Black? An amazing perfume with a good performance. I recommend it to everybody. Has a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille vibe. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll get into Zara one of these days. Honestly, I haven't jumped into the Zara scene. I know about Rich Warm Addictive. I've seen everybody talk about it. I've been tempted to blind buy it a couple times. But I've never jumped onto the Zara fragrances. Maybe I should. Maybe I would really like them. You know, they do seem to be good for on the budget, but I don't know. I've been kind of leaning and getting really picky with my high-end designers, and then I've been playing around and dabbling with these niche fragrances that are again in the 150, maybe to $300 range, but usually closer to 150. But I have to save for these. I have to save up, and I can't afford all this stuff all the time. Y'all probably think I'm loaded because again, I've done over 600 videos now. And who knows how many of them are actual reviews? Probably over 500 of them are actual review videos, and that's a lot of fragrance. That's a lot of fragrance. But again, I buy, but I also sell lots of things, and I review things, from my family's collection and stuff. I've given lots away, but Tobacco Oud. Which Tom Fords have gone? I'm not sure all of them. I would look up a list. I would try to figure out online. And, I'm sure there's some forums and some people talking about it. But there's actually a lot of them that have been discontinued. A lot of the Tom Fords have recently been discontinued. So, Spicy Barbershop, slightly herbaceous or herbish. That sounds good. If you like spicy barbershop scents, have you tried Acqua di Parma Colonia Intensa? That's one of my favorites for a spicy barbershop. And I think I heard that the Azzaro Intense was pretty good as well. I've been tempted to blind buy that one. It sounds really good, like a spicy, boozy Azzaro, the Azzaro DNA. So, Original Dogman's in the house. Hey, how you doing, man? How's it going? Have you had a good week? Ultra Super says, yeah, looks like many fragrance makers, both designer and niche, try to tweak already popular and proven fragrances and tweak them a little I got 14%, guys, so we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. I didn't know my power is gonna drain that quick. So sorry about that. Tom Ford is just yeah. Tom Ford's it's I don't want to say they're boring, but I do think that they're for the price that if you are a niche head, I would kind of expect more. If you are into niche, you can get very creative, very artistic fragrances for 300. And if you aren't in the niche, if you like designer fragrances, I mean, you can get really good performing fragrances and interesting fragrances, and you could get two or three, especially if you go for more affordable fragrances, you can get three or four really good fragrances for 300 bucks, if the retail price of a Tom Ford. So yeah, I don't have, I'm not crazy about Tom Ford. Again, I would really like to have Italian Cypress. I think Costa Azura is really nice, but the longevity is not acceptable. I only get 3 or 4 hours out of Costa Azura, and for the price, I can't justify wearing that one. I'd have to have a lot of money to be willing to burn money like that. A fragrance that doesn't really perform at all, and it costs 300 bucks, and I mean, you'd have to, I just couldn't do it. Oud Cafe is a beast of a fragrance. I've heard that one's pretty good. I've heard that one looks really nice. That's by Monsara. I know that you're a Monsara guy, or at least you love Monsara a lot, Dogman. Let's see. Dean says her tobacco, Oud Mineral, and Costa Azura are being discontinued. Yeah, I've those, and I don't know all of them that are being discontinued. I know that Italian Cypress. Some of the ones that were, vaulted and then brought back, and then I think they're discontinuing them again. So I guess if people aren't buying them really regularly, even if there is a loyal fan base behind them, unless they're really really popular, I guess they're not going to keep them. And I guess that's what Tom Ford's doing. They've been putting out a lot of releases. I guess they're wanting to see which ones sell the best and which ones stick. If Tom Ford's going to put out two or three fragrances a year, I guess they don't want to build a giant catalog. I guess they're going to, discontinue fragrances a lot as well, because sometimes they put out two or even three fragrances a year, which is, to some people, that's really excessive. That's a lot of releases, over the years. So, um, let's get to the comments. Matsara kick, absolutely. What's up, my frag friends? Bro, hey man, how you doing? How's it going? Happy to see you. And I do remember that tag you told me about. I haven't forgotten about you. I just need to find the time to put together that video. I still need to do my fall list. I do need to do that tag. Top 10 masculine fragrances. And if y'all know of anybody else who's tagged me, I do try to keep up with other channels. I do watch other channels fairly regularly, but I don't always catch a tag video. So I'm sorry about that. I'll be getting that out. So shout out to you and everybody. Carno Flores says Oud Mineral was trash anyways. Yeah, some people really hated that one. Some people hated it, kind of like how they hated Noir Anthracite. It's not mass appealing. I don't know if I would say it's daring, but or hard to wear, but it is unusual. And yeah, that heavy mineral vibe. It's kind of stale. Yeah, it's not for everybody. So I hear you there. I thought it was kind of interesting, but again, yeah, I don't know if I'd pay the price for it. Tyrone, Charlie Brown's in the house. Hey, my friend, how you doing? What's up, Carnal? Again, everybody, I probably have like 10% power, so I'll probably have to wrap it up soon. But we're having fun nonetheless. So, Carl Flores says, Rich Mitch, I still got vintage bottle of Santos de Cartier from the 80s. I also picked up a new bottle recently. It's quite similar, but not exactly the same. Yeah, things get reformulated. It always happens. If you really like the smell of a fragrance when you first get it, buy up maybe a backup bottle. Sometimes fragrances are reformulated really quickly. Sometimes things get expensive. Maybe they have problems with the supply chain. Maybe they can't keep a certain ingredient, or they can't keep it in stock or get it in stock enough for the number of the quantity, how many fragrances they want to make. So I saw somebody recently talking about how they're going to buy an extra bottle of Paul Rabanne's Pure Excess Night because they really like it, but who knows, it could be reformulated because it's a pretty strong fragrance. It performs pretty well, and that's sometimes the ones that are hit, the ones that are strong concentrations. So let's see, bundle time. Yeah, but you hit up people, get a good sale. That's what I'm talking about. See, Ben is the type of dude who sells you a tester with the cat with a cap. Yeah, I do. I mean, I wouldn't keep the cap. Well, I don't want. I don't want. Are you saying without the cap? I mean, why would I keep the cap? It's like I just sell if I sell it in the way I got it. I don't rip people off. Trust me. I shoot myself in the foot. So free market. Yeah. Centaur, what do you think of Creed's Spice and Wood? It's a really nice fragrance. I really do like it. It's a little bit linear. It's like a sparkly, clean kind of cardamom. It almost smells like black pepper too. It's a nice fragrance. It's not too heavy on the wood. It's more of like a fresh wood smell. It's classy. It's refined. It's one of my favorite Creeds. But again, it's one of those that for the price, it's not that unique for the price, but I do enjoy that fragrance. So I don't know. Maybe if I had a lot of money, I would buy it, but right now I couldn't do it for the price. So give me my cop. My I don't know what you mean by that. Tyrone is I don't know what's going on here. Not worth the money, Tyrone. Sorry, Cardinal Flores. I'm sorry. Osme or OSM extract probably why most expensive, but it will last me forever. I'm bad with abbreviations, so you'll have to remind me what that means. I'm failing you guys. Royal Oud is way better. Royal Oud's nice. It's easier to wear. It's calming. Probably better to wear around the family, and probably would be better for date night. Spice and Wood smells like somebody who's going to like a fancy casino, or smells like a guy who's going to like an elegant dinner at a place where everything like is like super clean and white and like porcelain, and then looks like fine china. Maybe a guy who wears a white suit. The KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken man might smell like it. So it's a nice fragrance, but yeah, it's not for everybody. It might not be too easy to wear. It smells super fancy. If you wore that casually, people might think you're putting on a show. So, hey, Centaur made it again. Happy to see you, JD Diamond. I don't know how to say your name. Always want to say, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but thanks for popping in. If we're talking about that genre and house, all right. And Flatty Batty says, I like watching people argue about Club 98 Intense batch. I stopped paying attention to it after they talked about the three batches. Supposedly the first one was like the strongest, and then they came out with the second batch that was supposedly the fruity one that everybody liked. Like the opening of it was better, and then the third one supposedly was really harsh and wasn't very. It didn't last as long as the first one. It didn't have the good opening of the second batch, and then I stopped trying to pay attention to that after that. Supposedly they brought it back, and supposedly it's good again, but there's too many things to worry about. I mean, more power to you if that's your favorite fragrance, but it's a good fragrance for the money. It's a really good value, that Club de Nuit Intense man. But the batch, I think it's kind of funny, but some people get into the batches. Some people love it. Opinion on Prada Amber Homme Intense. I don't think I've tried the intense version. I don't think I have, but I have tried the original, and it's a lavender scent that's very soapy. It really depends on what you like. Some people really like powdery fragrances. It smells really nice, and it's one of the best clean fragrances. If you want to smell like a very luxurious, almost like a lavender bar of soap, it's really nice. I heard the Intense has some smoky aspects, and it's really refined. So that one might be good to check out. I should try that one. I've been meaning to try it, but some people really like the original. I wasn't too crazy about it, the original, but maybe the Intense might pique my interest. So. Broke says, "Oh, thanks, Cardinal, on Spice and Wood. Driving, so listening to everybody. Yeah, that's fun. Thank you for popping in. I'm like your show host. I'm your narrator." Cardinal says, "Royal Oud is cheaper and mo better." I hear you. It's the Spice and Wood has that luxurious feel, but I feel you. I think the average person would like Royal Oud a little bit better. Guys, I have 4% power, and we have 21 people here. I really appreciate you. If I disappear in a second, I want to thank all of y'all for popping in. This was really fun, and I'm really grateful for y'all for popping in and make this really fun. When I turn this camera on, I don't know if anybody's going to show up. Honestly, I feel that way, and I really appreciate all of your friendship. So. Rich is still talking about Santos and the vintage batch. Monday, big haul. Okay, yeah, definitely share. Yeah, I forget if you have an Instagram or not, but feel free to jump in my Facebook group or here on Facebook and tag me or something. I'd love to see your new fragrances in your collection, Ultra Supra. Love Intensa. The longevity's met. Yeah, the longevity could be better. Colonia, they're not the longest lasting, but it smells pretty darn good. So pop in there. Tom Ford was Tom Ford original line was very solid. Yeah, the original line was very solid, just like the Chanel. The like with Mitza. Mitza was awesome in some of those original ones, and then they kind of start trying to make them mass appealing or water them down. And I guess they're sometimes these houses try to make a quick buck. So many channels, so little time. Well, I wasn't on here for too long, so hopefully I didn't take on up the whole night. And somebody else is probably going to do a live soon. Somebody else might be doing a live right now. So there's definitely somebody else you can jump to, but I hope that y'all had a little bit of fun hanging out with me tonight and chatting up fragrances. Y'all are awesome. Centaur, my man, Uncommon Sense, thanks you for popping in. My power's about to go out, guys, and I'm sorry for all you guys who just popped in, but I do appreciate you. And I'll be doing a review of this one soon. I was planning on mentioning it a little bit, but this is Black Hashish from Art Olfacto. Not mass appealing,